to the Island Lamb, and I'm Diane, and this is episode 10. And I hope you enjoyed that little photo montage at the beginning. Those were some scenes from the Block Island Holiday Stroll. And it's our 31st annual stroll on the island, and it lasts for 3 days. It's from the day after Thanksgiving right through, so it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's quite unique in several ways. One is that most of these shops and restaurants have closed for the season, but they reopen just for this weekend. And they bring in special holiday items, and most of them are serving hot cider and Christmas cookies or Christmas candy. And they also discount a lot of the leftover inventory from the summer. So it really is a good way to do some Christmas shopping. The other thing that's unique is that the ferry company puts on extra ferries. So the high-speed ferry is running and the traditional ferry. So families can come from the mainland and just spend the day. And that's what our family did. So our niece and our great niece and her mother and sister came out for the day to do a little shopping, and we bumped into them in town. Another thing that makes it most unique is that, and I'm going to use my Rhode Island accent to describe this, is we have a lobster pot Christmas tree. And this is a big Christmas tree that is made with lobster pots that a local lobster fisherman donates. And several of the young men on the island spend a couple of days to put it together and string it with lights. And it's pretty magnificent to see that when you come off the ferry. And then if you're leaving at dusk, it's pretty special to see it all lit up. And Santa Claus was in town, and he stood in front of the tree and took pictures with all the kids. And I managed to get a photo of him as well. The Garden Club on Block Island donates their time, and they cut fresh greens and berries, and they make wreaths, and they put them on all of the telephone poles in town. And even though the big white hotels on Main Street are not open this time of year, they do drape their beautiful verandas with garland, and they do hang wreaths, so it's really pretty. So my husband and I went down, and we spent a little bit of time, and the first thing we did is we went to North Light Fiber. So North Light Fiber opened on Block Island in 2009, and it is one of the most complete mills in North America, from shearing right to skein. And Laura and Sven Rism are the owners, and so there is one building which is the mill itself, and then another building which is the retail shop. And the mill and the retail shop are located in the middle of an exotic animal farm on Block Island. So as you walk in, you're passing a beautiful garden, and then you see it could be a yak, llamas, alpacas, tortoise, camels. Very unique. And there's a beautiful food truck in the summer, and a little garden. The produce from the garden is being sold, and the food truck is using a lot of the produce from the garden. So it's a special place. So they were open for the stroll. And so let's see, what else can I tell you? So this mill, they minimally process and blend yarns, and most exotic yarns. So alpaca, yak, merino, mohair, camel, bamboo. They have a lace, a fingering, and right up to chunky and rug yarn. Let's see. They have been featured in Vogue Knitting Magazine and some other publications, and they have had quite a few retreats over the years, some in coordination with Vogue Knitting. And Deborah Newton, who is a Rhode Island native, she has done several finishing and design workshops at the mill. Bristol Ivy will be here this year. Kristen Drysdale and Patty Lyons has done some workshops here. So it's really a special place. They will do mill tours, so you can go see the whole process: the carding, the combing, the spinning, the plying, and then the shop is pretty nice too. And I'm going to insert some photos so you can see inside the shop. I wanted to show you this piece because this is made with North Light Fiber yarn. So this yarn is called Seaside, and I thought that was really appropriate for this particular garment because the garment is called Seacoast. So we'll start with the yarn first. So North Light Fiber Seaside. This is a blend of cotton and merino. So let me get to it's 50% supima cotton and 50% superfine merino. This is a beautiful marl. They have many, many colors, but this one caught my eye. And this design is a Joji Locatelli design. And what I love about this, I love a top-down. This is a top-down construction, a lot of stocking knit. You know, once you get past your yoke, you're really just mindlessly knitting. I'm trying to remember. I don't think there was anything special about the bind, the cast on or the bind off. Let's see, what else can I tell you? The pattern originally called for Brooklyn tweed shelter, but I really wanted to use North Light fiber, and I really liked the play on the words between the Seacoast pattern and Seaside yarn. Worked in the round, top down. Oh, there's some optional waist shaping, which I did do, and I think it really makes for a very flattering, elegant fit. Short rows in the back. Because of the stretchiness of the ribbed fabric at the top of the yoke, the pattern does recommend that you sew a length of seam tape or ribbon to stabilize it, but I didn't have any problem at all with this yarn. As you can see, it's got some nice bounce. This yarn has great memory. I would definitely use this yarn again, and I have used some of their other yarns. They have a beautiful cashmere merino blend that makes beautiful fingerless gloves and hats and of course sweaters. And another thing that they do, which is interesting, is they send the yarns to underdeveloped countries and to handicapped women, and they take those yarns and they weave them into some beautiful shawls and blankets, and they sell those finished products in the retail shop. So at the end, I think at the end of that little video pan that I did, you can see some of those shawls hanging up. So that's how we started the day. Oh, and I also wanted to mention one other thing. My main motivation for going was not only to buy yarn, but they had Katrinkles, which is a company located in Providence, Rhode Island as well. This is a woman-owned and operated business, and they make buttons and tools for knitters. And I will also try to take a photo of these, but they've made special stitch holders just for North Light Fiber, and they have, you probably really can't see that, they did one of the ferry, and they have one of the North Light house and the Southeast Lighthouse, and another one of Block Island, the shape of the island, which is quite unique, and a little skein of yarn. So in this package, you get 5 of these stitch holders. So I did get a couple of those. Okay, I'm now going to insert some photos of me wearing this sweater because I know you can't really get the full vision of it while I'm sitting here, but I am so pleased with the Lory Pullover. This was a design by Courtney Spainhower. It was in, I don't remember now, but I did have it in a future past episode, and I will put it down in the show notes. I think it was an interweave, and it was Fall 2020 magazine. And I used the Valley yarn that I bought when I was at Webb's, and this is the Northfield. And this yarn is 70% merino, 20% baby alpaca, 10% silk. And this yarn is, I said it before, I'm going to say it again, this yarn is gorgeous. I can't wait to make other things out of it. It blocked out beautifully. You see me standing in it. You get a good look at the front and the back of it. The color is spectacular. I hope you enjoyed my burning bush. I think that was a nice little, I am no model. The last thing I really wanted to do was that. But my uncle suggested that I do occasionally let you see the full picture of the garment and how it looks on me. So I took advice and I figured I'd give it a shot, and I put some little fun holiday earrings on. I wore it with white trousers and boots, and I am going to get a lot of use out of this winter. Now, when I blocked it out, I was worried that the rib was going to cinch in, and I didn't want to, so I kind of pushed it out. So you can see it kind of has a little swing to the bottom, and that's exactly what I wanted. I think if you wanted to fit that closer to you, when you block it, you could push that together, or you could go down a needle size. That was a garter ridge, and I made a mistake. So I did the garter ridge on the bottom, but I did not do the garter ridge on the cuff. I just did reverse stocking knit stitch in between it. And it wasn't until I went to block it that I went, well, that doesn't look at all like the hem. So I did the hem right, but I didn't do the sleeve right. But you know, at that point I was finished. And it fits, I like the way it kind of fits a little closer. So that could be another option. If you wanted that to come in a little bit, you could just ignore the pattern there. Let's see. I also, worked a little bit on some of those gifts that I said I was going to make. So this is a Purl SoHo free pattern, and it's called the Classic Ribbed Hat. And I had some Cloudborn fingering yarn that I didn't love. I bought it to make socks. It is a superwash and a fine merino. I just didn't love the colors. I bought a medium gray and I bought a darker gray, and I didn't like the way it felt in my hand. It was pretty thin, fingering weight, and I wasn't enjoying the knit, so I had just put them away. And I bought 2 skeins of the light gray, 2 skeins of the dark. I bought some camel and some beige. It was on sale, and I thought, oh, socks. So when I saw this pattern, I saw it was knit up on a size 3 needle, I believe. I tried the dark gray, and it was a little too see-through, a little too loose. So I held 1 strand of the light gray and 1 strand of the dark gray, and I have this great stretch. I love the way the colors, you just get that little bit of light gray popping through. I made because I was holding 2 together, I did go up a needle size. I do believe I went up to a size 4, and instead of making the extra large adult, I made the large adult. And my husband tried it on, and it's his brother that I'm going to be giving it to. It fits him great. It's warm and cozy, and I'm so happy with the pattern. And I also had some black fingering weight and some gorgeous yarn, and I'm going to make myself one. So thank you, Purl SoHo. You're so generous. I didn't even use the yarn this time, your yarn this time, but I'm thankful for the pattern. So let's see, where are we now? I wanted to also say that I once again have not worked on my MCAL. I think I'm probably not going to pick it up again until January. And I also want to say that I have not attempted to cut my Spark cardigan yet. I'm going to wait until January for that as well. I think that I'm building my courage. I don't know what my problem is, why I just don't do it. I had a friend over on Sunday and we knitted together, and I brought it down and I showed it to her, and and she's a knitter, and I told her my concerns, and she's like, it's for you, just cut it. I mean, just cut it. So I think that I'm going to go ahead and give that a shot first of the year. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the little montage of the Christmas stroll. Actually, it's called a holiday stroll. And I think that what I'm thinking about now are a few more gift items. I have a coat. My mother bought me this kit, I mean, more than 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. And I'm not going to show it to you today, but I'm telling you about it so I could hold myself accountable, because I want to finish this coat. It was in Ram's Wool magazine, which is a Canadian company, a yarn magazine, and she presented it to me in this beautiful antique looking hat box with all the yarn. She bought me the buttons, she bought the pattern. I couldn't wait to get home and knit it. I knitted the back like in, I think, just a couple of weeks, and this is a long, full, you know, not maxi, but definitely a midi coat. And it has some Intarsia, it has several different colors. And I started on the left front, and then I got the right front together, and then I laid it out on my dining room table. Oh, and by the way, when I was working on the left front, the second piece of the front, I ran out of yarn. So I had to call Ram's Wool, and they were gracious, and they were like, this has never happened before, but I told them the yarn that I thought I was going to need, and they sent me plenty more, and I wasn't going to have enough yarn to make the sleeves. And I thought, what is going on here? So I put it aside. You know how that goes. We lose interest when things aren't going quite right with our projects. So then I finally laid it out, and I took a gauge, and I realized right away what my mistake was. I made the 2 front pieces, I made them together. So this is all going to be put together. It's all separate pieces. I put the left and the right front on. I thought it'd be easier to keep track of my rows and my colors. And we were to go from a size 6 needle for the rib and up to a 9. And I wasn't using long circular needles back then. I was using straights. And I was holding 1 6 and 1 9. And I made up the 2 fronts. And of course I used more yarn because the 6 was every other row. And I was heartbroken. And as soon as I laid it out and started measuring, I realized that the sizing was wrong. It was all, I don't know how I didn't see that, but I had put the back to the side, anyway. So I unwound it, I ripped it all out. I left the back is fine. I obviously did the back right, but I ripped out all the Intarsia, rolled everything up, and I let it rest for a few years. And I really want to wear that coat. I really want to get that project back on the needles. So I actually have re-knit the left and front side. I've knit the 2 sleeves, and now I just have to put it together and pick up, the button band goes all the way around. I have to pick up the button band. So I will show that to you next week, next episode, and that will keep me, I think, committed to finishing it. And I think that bringing up the Spark cardigan again will also hold me accountable. So I wish you all a great week, and I will see you next week. Bye.